if something isn't changed, we may soon witness a tragedy likes of which we've never seen before. It's quite possible, in my opinion, that Great Britain could be wiped off the face of the earth. It could be washed away into oblivion. I hate to say it, and as much as I think Britain is a valuable ally, someone we need to protect, I don't think the Russians exactly feel the same way about it. The Brits are about to send some tanks to the Ukraine, and they're generally supporting the war effort as we are here in the United States. And as much as I believe what Russia is doing in the Ukraine is wrong, and really they should not be doing it, they do have weapons, they do have the power to unleash unprecedented damage. They have just released, or just right now are releasing, the Poseidon torpedo. It's capable of creating a tsunami 1,640 feet high. They claim it has a 100 megaton warhead that they could detonate, and the Russians claim that it's essentially unstoppable. It sounds like an absolutely horrific weapon. Now, whether or not they're exaggerating, or they may not have it as ready as they'd like us to believe, that's all speculation. I know the Russians are not always completely upfront with everything that they have, but we do know that they definitely have nukes. They have a hell of a lot of them. We do too. We all know that U.S. and Russia, we could both wipe each other out. But this situation in Ukraine is getting really hot. The Russians really don't like the fact that NATO is sending in tanks and sending in reinforcements, and they're considering this. And some of the Russian generals, Andrei Gulayev, I think that's his name, something like that. I probably got the pronunciation botched up, but he's essentially threatening that if these tanks are delivered, the tanks from Britain, and then there's also some tanks that the Germans are going to deliver. He's essentially saying they're crossing a red line, and they very well may go right ahead and deploy this Poseidon weapon. If they do, and if it does what they say it does, or even if it does half of what it's, a third or fourth of what they say it does, it probably will wipe out Britain. They're talking about this huge tsunami that could just wash over everything, make it all radioactive. And yes, Britain has nukes too that they could send into Russia. I mean, they could inflict a lot of damage on Russia. I don't doubt that, but some of these people are absolutely insane over there in Russia, and with Vladimir Putin himself not really doing so well. From what I've heard, he's very sick, and he's dying, and maybe he's kind of figuring, just kind of like Hitler figured, hell, he's got nothing to lose. He's going to die anyway, so maybe he just assumed take the rest of the world with him. I don't know what his trip is, but I think we really need to all reevaluate what we're doing in the Ukraine and seriously considering backing down on it. As wrong as what the Russians are doing, our interference with what's going on in the Ukraine could really wreak havoc on the rest of the world, because I do not believe that these Russians are just completely bluffing. Some of it, yes, but I know there are some of these Russian fanatics really do feel like that. They feel like, hey, if Britain is standing in their way of victory in the Ukraine, and they're essentially saying, well, hey, if Britain didn't exist, they'd win. And to me, that's pretty damn scary. I don't think it's something that we should be playing around with. And this is one of those times when maybe NATO needs to bite the bullet and back down a little bit and just say, hey, the Ukraine, if the Russians really want it that bad, sad to say, maybe they just need to let them have it. I don't think they're taking the rest of the world with us on the way down is the answer. And I'm sure if the Russians do launch this Poseidon thing against Britain, of course it will destroy Britain, but that's not going to be the end of it, because as a NATO member, the United States and a number of other countries will be obligated to respond, and I don't think there's any other outcome. It will definitely result in a full-scale nuclear war, the big one between the United States and Russia, and probably a few other countries throwing their nukes in the pot too. China might decide to send off some nukes just to join in the fun, and the world will be gone. It'll be the end of everything. So I really believe we need to back off on what we're doing in the Ukraine. If you have any comments on this or ideas, please do let me know. Thank you.